Good evening. Today we worked with rounding. We used two different strategies in class to round, and so really quick I'm going to run through our strategies that we used in class. I'll also help you out with your homework a little bit if you're stuck and go over some of the problems. So remember today in class, again, we used two different strategies. We kind of used our standard way of rounding, which is what we did in second, third grade. We're also going to learn how to round with number lines this year. So I have my board split in half here, so I'm going to show you a little bit about both. Remember, standard is where we look at the number and we figure out where we're rounding to. So in this case, if I take my number 435 and I'm going to round to the tens, I'm going to look at my tens, look next door at my 1, and remember the rule is if it's 4 or less, I'm going to go down. If it's 5 or higher, I'm going to go up. So if I'm rounding 435 to the nearest tens, I'm going to go to the 10 spot, underline it. I circle the number next door, which is a 5, and I'm going to look. So since this is a 5, I'm going to go up. I'm going to change the 5 to a 0. I'm going to bump my tens up one spot, one number, so it's a 4, and then put in my number. So if I'm rounding this the standard way, my answer would be 440. Now, I can get the same answer using a number line also. So if I have 435 and I'm rounding to the nearest 10, again, I'm going to go to that 10 spot, I'm going to underline it, and rather than looking next door and circling it though this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in my number line and I'm going to use my 430, my 30 here, my 43, as my first number on my number line, and then the 10 above it, 440, is my next. And then remember, we put a number in the middle, 435. Anything in the middle or this way to the right rounds up. Anything below 5 to the left, we're going to round down. So 435, if we were to place it on our number line, it would fall right, or 435, it would fall right here in the middle, so we're going to round it up. And again then, it goes up to the top part of the number line. So again, our answer is 440. So again, those are two basic strategies, standard and number line. For homework tonight, you guys had several problems which you were using rounding for. So I'm going to walk you through your homework really quick. If you're checking it, that's cool. So your first problem, I'm going to start with the number lines part on the back because that's probably the newest thing to us and what we probably need the most help with. So the numbers on our number line are already there, and what I like to do is, just like what we did in class, I like to put the number in the middle so I can split my number line in half. So on this first one I have 1,200, I have 1,300, I'm going to put 1,250 in the middle, and then I'm going to plot my number. So 1,267, it's going to be right here. Okay, I'm going to the nearest 100, so it's to the left of my midpoint, so I'm going to round it up. So the answer on number 1 is 1,300. On my second one, I'm going to the nearest 100. I have 300 and 400. My points are already plotted. I'm going to draw in my midpoint, 350, what's in between. I have 345, which is going to go here. It's to the left of the midpoint, so I'm going to round down. So my answer on 2 is 300. On the third one, I have 4,336. I'm rounding it to the nearest 10. So when you look down here, we have 4,430, 4,430, or 40, I'm sorry, I misspoke. My number in the between is 4,435. Okay. 4,336 is going to go like right here, just past it. So it's going to be there. Since it's just past it, it's to the right, so I'm going to round up. So my answer is 4,440. Okay? All right, on my last one, I have the numbers 634,492. I'm rounding it to the nearest 1,000. So again, I'm going to find my midpoint. So I have 6,000 or 634,000, 635,000. So I'm going to go 634,500, 634,500, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to plot this number, 634,492. It's going to be just short of this midpoint. And since it's to the left of the midpoint, I'm rounding down. So my answer is going to be 634,000 is my answer. I'm sorry. All right, flip your page over really quick. On the back, you have your rounding practice. So you have 4 different numbers on the back, and you're rounding it to different spots. So on this first one, I'm going to use, I'll show you on the first one with both strategies. So if you're using the standard or regular way of rounding, you have 430 rounded to the nearest 10. So if I'm doing this the regular way, I'm going to underline my 10 spot. I'm going to circle the 9. And since 9 is over 5, I'm going to round up and go to 440. If I were doing that on a number line, since I'm going to the nearest 10, I'd go 430, 440, 435 is my midpoint, 439 is over here next to 440. It's to the right of the midpoint, so I'm going to round up. If I did hundreds, okay, I'm going to go to the 100 spot. I'm going to circle the 3. So 4, look next door at the 3. 3's a round down. So to the nearest 100, it would be 400. If I were doing that with a number line, I'd have 400. I'd have 500. My midpoint would be 450. My number then would be right here, just to the right or to the left of 450. So I'm going to slide it to the left, and it's less than. So again, it's 400. So, and whatever strategy you use, then you can write it up on the bottom and how you did it. Okay, so running through these a little bit quicker now, I'm just going to use the standard. 4,871 rounded to the nearest 10. I'm going to go to my 10 spot, underline my 7, circle my 1. 1 is below 5, so I'm going to round down. So rounded to the nearest 10, it's 4,870. For hundreds, I'm going to go to the hundreds, I'm going to underline it. I'm going to look at that 10, it's 71. So I'm going to round up for hundreds. So it's going to be 4,900. For thousands, I'm going to go to the thousand spot, underline it, circle the hundreds. So I have 4,000. I look next door at the 8. The 8 says round up. So the answer on the thousands should be 5,000. Okay. 2 more really quick. All right, 68,413. Nearest tens. Again, I'm going to go to the tens, circle it. The ones, the 3 is round down, so it's 68,410. For hundreds, I'm going to go to the hundreds, circle it, look at the tens. The 1 is a round down, so I'm going to go 68,400. For thousands, I'm going to go to the 8, underline it, circle the 4. The 4 is a round down, so I go 68,000. And for the 10,000s, I'm going to go to the 6, underline it, circle the 8. The 8 rounds up, so it's 70,000. So those are your answers on that one. Okay? All right, last one really quick. You have 347,919. So rounded to the nearest tens, you go to the tens, underline it, circle the ones, the 9 rounds up, so it's 347,920. For hundreds, you're going to, I did that wrong. I'm sorry. You're going to go to the hundreds, underline the hundreds, look at the 1, and the 1 says round down, so you go 347,900. For thousands, you circle the 7, or underline the 7. The second one in a row, I did like that. Circle the 9, and you're going to round up. so it's 348,000. For 10,000s, you underline the 4, circle the 7. You're going to round up because the 7 says go up, so it's 350,000. And then for 100,000s, you underline the 3, circle the 4. It goes down, so it's 300,000. So those are your answers for your homework and your 2 strategies. I hope you did well. We will see you back at school tomorrow morning. Have a great night.